Welcome to the sunniest capital in Europe. I hate to break it to you, but 3 days are not enough. However, I will try to make the best out of the 3 days that you have in this amazing city. I created this guide. You have things to do in the morning, afternoon, and also some suggestions on where to go for lunch and where to go for dinner. 2 things that you should know. 1, you will walk a lot. Lisbon is an extremely hilly city, so bring appropriate footwear. The second thing that you need to know, we had a huge earthquake on the 1st of November 1755, and that really impacted the city. After the earthquake, the fire started and then a tsunami came. So a lot of the city that you're seeing right now had to be rebuilt after this date. I advise you to buy the Lisboa card. It is a card that can grant you access to some of the main buildings for a discounted rate or even for free, and will also allow you to travel as many times as you want in the public transportation. An alternative is to buy the Lisboa Viva card, which is a card that is valid in all public transportation in Lisbon for a discounted rate. To film this guide, I had the help of a friend, Frankie, and he appears in a lot of shots. He wants to make new friends, so he wouldn't let me cut him out of the shots. So just let's make of this a game and try to count how many times you spot him. Because, yeah. Day 1. The traditional Tram 28. Your day should start early. Head to Praça da Figueira, next to Martim Muniz, and catch the Tram 28, or Elétrico 28. Being early is the only way to ensure that you'll have a seated spot in that tram. Unfortunately, I have to say this. Be aware of pickpockets. The first stop is Basílica da Estrela. This basilica has quite a sad story behind it. Queen Mary I had invested her whole life trying to unite Portugal and Brazil under the same kingdom. However, she had no heir to the throne. She prayed to God and promised that if she was able to bear a healthy child, she would build the Basílica da Estrela as soon as he was born. She started to construct the basilica after José, Prince of Brazil, was born. However, the young prince died at 27 years old of smallpox, even before the basilica was finished. The grieving mother asked to be buried in the same church that she had promised to God. The basilica is free to enter and visit, however, you can pay extra €4 to go to the terrace. In my opinion, it's not really worth it though. In front of it, you have the gardens of Estrela, and where they even have a library kiosk where you can borrow books from to read while you're there. After seeing these two, hop again on the Tram 28. You'll see that it's much crowded now. Get down in Cathedral. Inside, you'll be able to see the fount that was used to baptize Saint Antonio, it is said. The saint was born right next to the church where now stands Igreja de Santo Antonio. The stained glass were reconstructed from fragments from the original ones in the 20th century. They were all destroyed in the 1755's earthquake, where the ceiling fell, killing hundreds of people that were praying inside the church. Very close to the Cathedral is Portas do Sol, a magnificent viewpoint where you can have a good look at the city. For lunch, I recommend you to explore the neighborhoods of Alfama and Mouraria and try to find a little restaurant. All of them have a lot of choice in Portuguese cuisine. After lunch, if you're interested in the most famous Portuguese music style, go to Museu do Fado. In a small explanation, Fado is a sang interpretation of poems, which is why the oldest don't even have a course. The museum offers a great collection not only of music that you can hear, but also of the oldest instruments that are used to make it. After this museum, go to Castelo de São Jorge. The Lisbon castle was built in the mid-11th century by the Moors. Dom Afonso Henriques conquered Lisbon on the 25th of October 1147, becoming the first king of Portugal, and started ordering some changes in the castle, which were only finished on the 13th century. Aside from the archaeological site, which is always visited, it is extremely interesting to visit the Câmara Escura. It is an optical system which uses mirrors and lenses to get a 360 view of the city in real time, and it's one of the only mechanisms still functioning in the world. When you're exiting the castle, you can have a snack at Pastéis de Bacalhau and try them with queijo da serra. It's a type of cheese that is very common in Portugal. Did I mention that Lisbon is super hilly? Portuguese people solved this problem in a creative way. They constructed elevators or lifts using trams. One of the most well-known is the Gloria elevator. The Gloria Funicular connects Avenida da Liberdade with Rua São Pedro de Alcântara. After getting to the point, you can enjoy an awesome view over Lisbon. For dinner, there are two options. You can either try to find a restaurant around Avenida da Liberdade, which is very close to the viewpoint, or you can climb a bit further and go to Marquês de Pombal, where there are also a lot of restaurants. Day 2. Belém. The Belém neighborhood is home to some of the most well-known monuments of Lisbon. You should start by Mosteiro dos Jerónimos. This monastery is the most remarkable Portuguese monument of the Manueline style and one of the main European churches. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. King Manuel I ordered it with the name of Monastery of Saint Mary of Belém, and the construction began in 1501, lasting for 100 years. It was intended to immortalize the memory of Infante Dom Henrique, who was very important in our discoveries, for his intense devotion to Our Lady Mary. It was later donated to the monks of the Order of St. Jerome, being today commonly known as the Jerónimos Monastery. Buried in this monastery are not only the king and his descendants, but also Luís Vaz de Camões, Vasco da Gama, and my favorite Portuguese poet, Fernando Pessoa. Next to Mosteiro dos Jerónimos is CCB, or Centro Cultural de Belém. The CCB is a cultural hub in Lisbon and will very likely have something for you to enjoy. There are not only art exhibitions, but also temporary shows with music, theater, and even opera. Its gardens and cafes offer some of the best public spaces in the city. Close by, you'll be able to spot Padrão dos Descobrimentos. This huge stone caravel was built in 1940 for the Portuguese World Expo. With 52 meters in height, the caravel is headed by the figure of Prince Harry the Navigator, followed by a group of other 32 very important people from the era of the discoveries. If you look to it from behind, it has the form of a cross decorated by the sword of the Order of Avis, which was the main financial sponsor to the voyages. For lunch, head over to Pão Pão Queijo Queijo. It has a lot of choice and great quality and is extremely fast. The top floor is decorated with Portuguese sayings all around, so you should check them out. Next up, Torre de Belém, another UNESCO World Heritage Site. Lisbon became one of the main trade hubs in the world in the 1500s and 1600s, making the kings to desire to protect the city. King João II conceived a pioneer project to defend Lisbon from enemy ships, and the Belém Tower was part of it. Fun fact, there is one statue of a rhinoceros in the tower, and that one is the first statue of that animal in whole Europe. Maat, the Museum of Art, Architecture and Technology. It is a new building in Lisbon. If you climb the stairs and go to the top floor, you'll have a nice view over the river. Despite being all in the same area, the truth is that these monuments are a bit too far away to walk from one to the other. There's another way. There are a lot of companies that offer this service. You just need to choose your favorite one, install the app, and just ride. You should go only to this next one, Pilar set, if you have the Lisboa card. It's honestly not worth it, and you should only do it if you have extra time and a free ride there. The views are not that good. For an afternoon snack, you have Pastéis de Belém. The factory is right next to Mosteiro de Jerónimos, and the recipe is still a secret after more than 300 years. Most people go there in the morning or in the early afternoon. So as a tip, try to go there later in the day. The factory only closes at 10 p.m. For dinner, you should head to LX Factory. It's one of the old factory centers in Lisbon, but now offers loads of restaurants, bars, lounges, and even a club. The one that I would recommend you is Rio Maravilha. The opening hours are a bit tricky, so the best thing is to go there in the evening, except for Sundays and Mondays. It has a good view over the river and offers a lot of choice in food and drinks.
This one? Not worth it.
Day 3. Baixa-Chiado. Start the last day by the elevator of Santa Justa, or Santa Justa lift. It transports people straight from Rua do Ouro to the ruins of the Carmo convent. It has an amazing viewpoint on top. To use it, I advise you to use your Lisboa Viva card, the same for the metro and bus, because the trip is cheaper. If you don't want to ride it, you can go up the stairs of Carmo Hill and then pass by the restaurant Bela Lisa elevator. You can walk around the main level and go to the viewpoint with only €1. Arc de Rua Augusta. It only opened in August 2013 and wasn't designed for public visit, so wheelchairs can go up. It symbolizes the rebirth of a new Lisbon after the earthquake of 1755. It is a good viewpoint of Baixa.
This area is Praça do Comércio, or Commerce Square.
It is also well known as Terreiro do Paço or Palace Yard. It was completely destroyed during the earthquake of Lisbon in 1755. Rua Augusta is a pedestrian street with a lot of esplanadas, or outdoor cafes, and street artists. It's worth a stroll. For lunch, I would recommend you to go to Armazéns de Chiado. The original warehouses were destroyed in a big fire of 1988. Now it is a mall with loads of stores and restaurants. The Carmo convent was the biggest church in Lisbon before being destroyed in 1755. Just like with said Lisboa, hundreds of people died inside. However, this one wasn't rebuilt and maintained. Now it is home of an archaeological museum. Instead of visiting during the day, look for one of the night shows they have. I watched Lisbon Under the Stars, a beautiful light show that told the story of the convent and Lisbon. Do you know that Lisbon has the oldest bookshop in the world? That's right. Liberdade Tram has the Guinness World Record of the oldest functioning bookshop, having opened in 1732. For an afternoon snack, head over to Café A Brasileira. After your afternoon snack, just take a walk at Praça Luís de Camões. To finish the day, go down Rua do Alecrim and stop by Pensão do Amor. Yes, it is a former brothel, and the decor is very sexual. It is a nice spot for a cocktail after a full day of sightseeing. Another entrance of Pensão do Amor is from Pink Street. This street used to be well known for its hookers for the sailors that stopped by in Lisbon. However, right now, it's one of the main hubs of the nightlife in Lisbon. To have dinner, go to Mercado da Ribeira, and it doesn't really matter what type of food you like. The market opened in 1892 to be the main food market in Lisbon. Nowadays, however, it has a dual function. You can find every day from 10 a.m. onwards multiple stalls from different restaurants in a canteen style of room. It is a perfect place for a group that can't really agree on what to eat. How many times did you find Frankie? Hope you enjoy Lisbon and that you'll come back more than once. It's really a city that is worth more than one visit. I will publish one more video with some of the extras other than these essentials that you should do if you had a little more time in our city. Don't forget to subscribe and to give this video a thumbs up. Beijinhos!
Do you know what this is? This is not Lisbon weather. This is the global warming.